All right. Millennials are having trouble in job training. They're not being very successful in their jobs. So, how do we address that? Well, today we got a great story for you. So, strap in. This is the Rob Maness Show. Shall we play a game? The iconic phrase from the artificial intelligence computer depicted in the movie War Games has taken on new meaning in our post-millennial environment of high school and college graduates in the workforce. Training development managers in corporate America have been busy trying to figure out the most effective training methods for the latest generations who grew up with smartphones in their hands and computers in the classroom. With the sorry state of our public schools, no one, absolutely no one, is surprised these generations don't always turn out to be very good employees, and unique training and education development are badly needed to improve workforce health and capability right now. That's why we've asked Sam Caucci, the CEO of 1HUDDLE, a workforce training company using mobile gaming, to come on the show. Mr. Caucci will help us wade through the mess that is job training and success in today's work environment. We'll also talk with him about how these gaming tools might be applied to literacy and veterans preparing for the job market, PTSD issues, homelessness, and much, much more. Well, today we've got CEO of 1HUDDLE, Mr. Sam Caucci, with us, and we're going to be talking about how to use gaming for workforce development and training, and maybe talk a little bit about other applications for the gaming environment, maybe things like literacy or helping veterans with PTSD. Mr. Caucci, welcome to the Rob Maness Show.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, Sam, let's dive right into it. Tell us about 1HUDDLE's effort to train these millennials and other generations that have followed behind them, and how you use gaming to accomplish that and make them more successful in the workforce.
Yeah, so today, the workforce is very different. We've never seen 5 different generations at work at the same time. With that in mind, jobs are changing faster than we've ever seen. And, when I started my company, I think one of the realities that we've seen is that companies are really struggling today to keep their workforce skilled up, knowing that work is changing so quickly. So one of the things that we found that with 55% of workers being millennial or now Gen Z, so if you're tired of hearing the M word, get ready, because Gen Z is about to wear you out. We have a workforce today that has spent over 10,000 hours playing some type of game before they hit 21. So our point of view is use something that this workforce likes, they know how to use, to get them ready to work faster than just the old manuals and videos nobody wants to read or watch.
Yeah, are there certain professions or job environments or job career fields that take to this type of training better than others, or is it just because of the generational issues that these younger folks have used technology so much and so for so many hours? By the time they get there, they're just ready to use it for any job.
So we see games being applicable across all types of industries and roles. 9 in 10 employees today say they're better than a coworker. We see tremendous opportunity in using competition to drive participation. Today we have brands that use us for product training. So let's say you have a new sales rep that you have to get ready to work quickly. They use us for soft skill training. So we have a workforce today that's struggling to communicate or be effective in face-to-face communication with customers. And then the third part is technical training. One of our clients is Denver International Airport. They gamified all of their serious training. So think diversity and inclusion, active shooter, fire safety, food safety. So the exciting thing for us is we really haven't come across a type of training yet we haven't been able to work with.
Wow, it's very impressive. Soft skills. Give us an example of some of the more difficult things to teach with gaming and soft skills from one or two or more of your clients.
Yeah, the reality is we have a hyper-connected workforce today. I know when I grew up, I spent so much time face-to-face in communication or using a telephone to talk on it instead of just text on it. And, again, we have a overwhelming percentage of our workforce now that, they use a phone to text, not just to talk. So soft skill training is one of our most popular forms of training today. I think it's one of the areas that if we don't do a better job at it as a workforce collectively, the introduction of automation and robots and artificial intelligence is really going to do some damage to the type of jobs that are available for workers. So we spend a lot of time in customer service. We spend a lot of time in sales training with communication with a customer. And we're spending a lot of time recently with large enterprises. One of our clients is Audible, the audiobook company, doing management and leadership training. So teaching our next wave of managers how to coach and develop their workforce, at a time when coaching and development and employee engagement are so important.
Yeah, it's quite impressive, especially, I have a 14-year-old at home, and it's hard to get him to have a conversation with you unless he's texting you through a cell phone or talking to you on FaceTime or those kind of things. So I assume you have a game system that can move them through the various stages of communication to get them more comfortable with things like face-to-face communication, using the tools that they're comfortable with. Is that the approach?
Correct. You need to know the playbook before you can, step on the field. So a lot of the tactics, the acronyms, the process are really awesome to be used on a game platform. The other thing is all of our games are meant to be mobile first. So we think this is an area that a lot of companies are struggling with, is all of their training and development stuff being just desktop or classroom focused. Over 80% of our games happen outside of working hours. So you talk about an employee, you talk about young people who just maybe haven't had as much communication time, now playing games while they're waiting for the subway or waiting for the metro or in an Uber or on the weekend. That is creating opportunities for training and development in these, call it like these peripheries of your day, is what we need to use technology for if we're going to build a workforce that's going to be competitive tomorrow.
And have you tried or looked at moving beyond just workforce development? I'm a board advisor for a nonprofit that helps with literacy issues with at-risk kids around the world. It's called WGI. And our CEO was asking me if it's possible to use a gaming environment to either improve literacy or actually teach to read.
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to talk to you about that. One of the things that our company worked with was the city of Newark. In our corporate office, I'm here today in Newark in our corporate office. One of the things we did about a year and a half ago is we started working with the city with their workforce development programs. So many U.S. cities struggle to keep job skill training anywhere near, in alignment with the times today. So some of the most powerful games I believe we ever built were on topics like you mentioned, were not just literacy, but games on financial literacy, games on how to prepare your resume for an interview, games on how to prepare for your first day at work. So topics like that, I think there's a huge opportunity. especially with populations that, time's important. Getting people skilled up quicker is more critical than ever.
Yeah, and I really like the idea that you all are using, and that's the mobile platform. I've done computer-based training for many, many years in the Air Force and beyond in my corporate life before I went into business for myself. And, if I've got it where I can use it on the phone, and like you said, when I travel by Uber, so I don't drive myself. I can sit there and do training if I need to. In some specific area while I'm waiting for that, or if I'm just sitting and watching the TV. And I can see the younger people really taking to that today. Have you ever thought about using this to help veterans with like post-traumatic stress or homelessness and those kind of things?
We have not had any success as of yet, but I'm really hopeful at the opportunity we could make in an impact area like that. We spend so much time doing job readiness training for large enterprises, and we're really starting to begin to find I think the other areas in our community, like veterans, like workforce readiness, where traditionally they maybe haven't had access to as much as maybe other corners of the workforce have. So I talk about the military constantly when I'm talking to CEOs. Because we'll get a CEO who might say to us, "What can you learn from a game?" And I think what you might know this, right? The military has the U.S. Army has over 150 game designers. The overall military has hundreds of game designers on staff that are building simulations in the form of games to prepare soldiers for battle. It only makes sense that we continue using that logic to skill veterans when they get back and they're trying to acquire the skills needed to either get a job or retrain for a new job that maybe is something that has recently emerged. So I'm very, very interested. We've made it an initiative for us here at 1HUDDLE to try to engage those types of groups. So maybe you know somebody. We'd love to talk to them.
Actually, I do know somebody, and in both of those groups, the literacy and the veterans groups, and I'll be happy to connect you up with them and do what I can to help. Because as you mentioned, and you've already picked up on it, that a lot of CEOs and hiring managers don't do, and that is that veterans as a group are much more comfortable with game theory, gaming, and digital gaming and using a handheld device than most people realize, because we've been doing the gaming both in the analog and digital worlds for over 100 years when it comes to military operations planning and training. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm excited about 1HUDDLE. Sam, thank you very much for joining us today here on the Rob Maness Show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we'd like to thank Mr. Caucci for joining us today and helping us wade through the mess that's the job environment, job training for millennials and the current generations, and how we can use gaming to help them be successful, and how we might apply the same things to literacy, veterans issues, and homelessness. That's it for the Rob Maness Show. Until next week.